This video is going to be all about prime and composite numbers. Now we have our learning goals over here on the side, so the three things that we need to make sure you will understand by the end of this video lesson. And the first one is that you do know that a prime number is a positive whole number that only has two factors, one in itself, and knowing that neither 0 or 1 are prime or composite numbers. You also need to know the difference between prime and composite numbers, so you really need to make sure that you know the difference between them, and obviously determine if a number is composite, so determining if a number is composite or prime based on a number of factors. So hopefully by the end of this lesson we should be able to tick off those three learning goals. Now the definitions I've got here, and you should write these down in your book. So the first one is that a prime number. Now a prime number is a positive whole number that only has two factors, and that is 1 and itself. So it's important that you've looked at previous videos in regards to factors and multiples and also divisibility, so refresh them if you need to, but a prime number only has two factors. Now the opposite is with a composite number. So a composite number has more than two factors, and this is the majority of numbers in our number list. Now it's important to also understand that 0 and 1 are neither prime nor composite, so you leave them out of this when we're dealing with prime and composite. Leave 0 or 1 out of this factoring in when we go from there. Now let's do an example. So we know that a prime number and a composite number, so we know the difference between them. Let's give us an example here. So I've got two numbers. I've got 5 and I have 6. Now what you want to do is that you want to see if these are prime or composite numbers. So we're going to start with 5 and we want to list the factors of 5. Now the factors of 5 in ascending order are 1 and 5. And if I did the factors of 6, I'll have 1 in itself. So 1, 2 times 3, so I'll have 2, 3, and 6. So what I have here is a great example of a prime number. So I'll write prime above 5 because it only has two factors, so 1 in itself. So this number 5 here is a prime number, and 6 in the other case is composite because it has 4 or more. So that's basically how you determine if a number is prime or composite. You basically list the factors. If it has 2 or more, then it's going to be composite. If it's only 1 in itself, then it's going to be a prime number. Now what we want to do here is learning goal 3. So we're going to determine if a number is composite or prime based on a number of factors. Now again, this is important that you understand your divisibility rule. So we're going to do this question as a practice here. Now you need to state whether each of these numbers is prime or composite. So we have 22, 35, 17, 11, 9, and 5. Now we want to determine if they're prime or composite. Each one, whether it's prime or composite. Now if you know your divisibility rules, you should be able to cancel some of these out pretty quickly knowing that they're composite. For example, this number here, 22, that ends in an even number. Now I know that all even numbers are divisible by 2, so that means it's going to be divisible by 1 in itself and also 2. So that one there will be composite. I also know that this number here, 35, it ends in 5. It's a double-digit number that ends in 5, so that means it's going to be divisible by 5 also. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 25, etc. I know that this would be divisible by 5, so this one's going to be composite also. And over here I have 9. Now I know that 9 is divisible by 3, so each of these numbers here is going to be composite because I know, using my divisibility rules, I know that these will be divisible by another number other than 1 in itself. So the composite numbers in here will be 22, 35, and 9. Now we want to see if the rest numbers are prime. So we have 5. Now we have done that example before. So 5 we know is a prime number. Now 11 and 17 we can't find any other factors other than divising itself by will give us that prime number. So I know that these three numbers here are prime. So if you know your divisibility rules, you can easily check off a few numbers knowing that they're either prime or composite, and that will help you answer a number of questions, especially as we move on into this unit.